So I was born September the 13th, and he was born September the 20th on January, and I was, that's born in 1927, and he was born in 1928. It was a little house that we lived in when we tried town for a few years, and then I had to come to country, so it was a little tenement house right up where the tennis court is, right above it.
Right beyond the tennis
I know,
court.
and Mom and Dad was living there because my grandparents were still alive. So I was born in a house here. My home was a nice home, and it's right up the road where our son lives now. It was large, and my granddaddy, Deacle, built it with his brothers. They are all farmers and carpenters. And they hauled the timber they cut and hauled, had it prepared, and then my daddy and brothers had to haul it on the mule and wagon over to the place to build. And Dad was just as happy for it to be that way because he could cook, and Dad loved to eat. He never did discipline us. My parents got married at 19. And they were just from around Murphy. They both had about the same birthday. They were born in December, and they were the same age. I never did ask her how they really met. Back in those days, they only had peanut shelling. You go to somebody's house, shell peanuts, plant, and then every now and then, my granddaddy and grandmother had the only radio around here. So some people would come on a Saturday night and I think that's the way they met. The black families, they had children, of course, a lot of them. And we used to play in the dirt under a shelter up there, in the blackest dirt you've ever seen. And we'd go in and take the eggs out of the hen nest, and we'd mix all that egg up the dirt, playing house, cooking. Just break them up, and I'm there just kind of taking a stick and stirring them in that black dirt. And then we, at lunchtime, when the hands would come in off the farm, a lot of times I'd already eaten, but I go and sit at their table to eat. And
Log house.
there was a big log house, and usually they had cabbage. I remember had cabbage, and they'd be picked blackberries and have blackberries, and that's about as far as I remember what they had, cornbread. But then the lady of the house had an old stick, and she put a newspaper on that and cut that paper up and down and put it on that stick. So while everybody was eating, she was doing this, trying to keep the flies away from the food. They were just coming in, just bunches of them. They'd put paper on the walls to try to keep the air out, newspapers. I don't know where they was getting those newspapers from. Nobody delivered them, so I don't know, but they had newspapers on the wall to try to keep the cold out. Oh, and too, when I was in the 4th grade, we were living up at Max's house, but anyway, in the 4th grade, I was up here, and we had to walk to school, and the school was over here across the highway, back to the cemetery over there. And it was only 2 rooms, and it had the wooden desk, and there's only 2 teachers out there, so they taught a bunch of grades, and they'd call you to the front on a bench when it was our grade time to read. And it finally, they got the Sunset School built, which is up the road where the kids go. And then we got to move up there. We rode trick horses. As a little rodeo, because we didn't even have anything else to do. So on the weekends, that's what we did. Friends get up together on the horses, and then it worked into us really getting into it. We had a friend, there's 2 of the boys, Lanier boys, who we went to their home because they're the ones that had horses. And so, for some reason, it's worked into us doing creek riding. It got so big that we finally get a little group of people coming. And even the grown-ups, like Daddy, he'd always be over there trying to fix something, to make it more interesting.
I had a cousin, about my age girl, named back when we were big. It was tough. It was during the Depression.
It was tough, everybody.
Yeah, but we happened to be lucky enough. We had the best house in Riverside, and he had it for long as he worked. Finally, when he retired, he bought another one. I played a lot of baseball, and as we got further along in school, I played football and basketball. Swam on the swimming team.
But when he was,
about everything you could do in sport.
And he's got things for even smaller. He marble champion.
Which got me with it.
Yeah.
It was what we call a commercial building then. It was just been built in Moultrie. It's where
3 crazy babies.
But the next floor down, which is the basement of that, we had a marble contest on concrete. And I had a brand new pair of striped overalls. And when I got through playing marbles, which I won my section of it, and then finally played a man that from another section that was a little better than me, beat me by 1 marble. And I got home with holes in both sides of my brand new overall. And they found it out, but they had a picture in the paper. My dad never saw me play ball. Of course, my mother never did either. I lived in Moultrie. He was a supervisor for Moultrie Cotton Hills. He was a top supervisor. He was a hard shell Baptist preacher. To me, back then, it was a lot different, but my mama cooked everything.
Beans, peas, what else?
Yeah.
It was hard times, but anyway, everybody had a garden.
But we had hogs and cows. We killed our own hogs. And we had chickens in the chicken pen. Had our own eggs.
He did a lot of fishing on the river, and he used to go fishing by himself when he was a young boy at night. And I said, how in the world could your parents let you get off in the river fishing?
I had my dog. The same Bruno. Same thing.
Bruno.
My granddaughter's got one up there called Bruno. My dog had rabies, came trotting down the street, and my dog got in a fight with him. One of my neighbors thought that since that one had rabies, he'd go and shoot my dog. I went in the house, and my mother said, where are you going with the gun? And I said, a man named Powell. I said, Mr. Powell killed my dog. I'm fixing to kill Mr. Powell, but I didn't get a chance to. I remember the day that December 7th, when I was playing touch football with a big crew of folks, and there was a military guy came up. They'd bombed Pearl Harbor, and we all said, "Well, that won't last long. The Japanese won't be hard to handle. Be gone." We were a little wrong. Working in a grocery store when I was about 11, putting up stock, and she walked in with another girl.
A friend of mine.
Who had brought her in to see the boyfriend then. That both of them, I think, might have been interested in. But she walked in, I kind of liked it.
I was scared to death because I'd been a little country girl stuck out here, with not a lot of people. And they had a bus, so they took us in. And when I got in to go into school, Roger was standing there with a bunch of boys waiting for me to get off that bus. And he said, "Get back, she's mine." Oh my gosh, I was expecting him to be there.
They knew I was here.
They say, "Oh, the boys would say, I date her, but I'm scared of you." Way back then, he had a friend in the country, and he was going to spend the night with him. So he rode the bus and got off up there. It might have been where you turn off, go down and chips. That's where it was, I think. They stopped that bus. And he had a shotgun with him to go hunting now. And nobody said anything about him.
I went to school and had a shotgun, and nobody said a word. Got in the locker and just stayed there all day. Got on the bus, and nobody said a word.
And then I got off for some reason. I was walking with y'all and
shotgun,
and he gets tickled because it like knocked me down.
I went through some classes early. I started off in the what we used to call primer, and they jumped me to 3rd grade. I did that started school at Christmas break. And in school, they got me to 3rd grade. So I got ahead of them.
Well, he graduated when he was 16. But he'd been in jumping on this, but in the high school, he was training to be a flight. What kind of schooling was it up there?
I had 29 grades.
To join the Air Force.
It was a special cadet thing. It was for college and high school. By the time we got through that year for high school, they didn't need us anymore. He and I both got an opportunity to go to University of Florida to play football.
University of Florida.
The reason I didn't go, I'd already went to Atlanta and joined the Mercury. But he decided since I wasn't going, he wouldn't go. Skip called us in, our coach called us in right at almost the end of school and said that if we wanted to play, he'd get it. This is a 1-game season. But anyway, he said he could get us in at Florida if we wanted to go. And when I couldn't go, he wouldn't go.
Because his parents wouldn't sign for him going to the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
And he could get in the Marine at 16. And then he went on over at 16 and got into the...
I went to every place you could think of. But that point, the worst part of it was in Belgium, Antwerp. I had my 17th birthday there and spent about 5 weeks
But you went to a lot of different
with a
countries.
shipload of ammunition.
You just in Europe a lot, different places. You was in Belgium when you had to run, the theater had been bombed over there and there was a lot of people in it. Where were you then?
Right there.
He gave me my ring at a friend's house. But anyway, he came over to the friend's house and just gave me a ring. I don't ever remember him saying, "Will you marry me?"
I was on my knees.
You got on your knees. I was so shocked to get the ring. But anyway, we got married at Temple Church. And we were the first wedding in that church. It was just kind of new. And my dad was a deacon. My granddad had been a deacon over there. And I had
Dr. R.C. Gresham married us.
I had several friends that was in the wedding. I had bridesmaid. He had his groomsmen. It was kind of formal. Go to the church, my hair was still wet. So it was, you don't know how I looked then. Well, she curled it. She wet it and curled it on those curlers she had. So we got married, went to the reception, and the friends came, all the friends, but I didn't have many other friends come. And then we sat out on the porch in a swing because we had planned to go to Jacksonville on a honeymoon. So, but we sat on the porch and swing until we had a brother-in-law. He finally decided he'd take us to Tallahassee. We didn't have a car. And we went to a house. It was a house, boarding house. We spent the night. And we got a nice camera, so we thought it was real nice in those days. We spent all these money it cost $25. And then we took pictures. We never did get them developed. We didn't have the money to go get them developed. So they stayed in the camera until we had to throw away the camera years afterwards. And we got home. We did live in an apartment, which used to be an old hospital. And it was no more. And then so we rented that place with bedroom and bathroom. It was huge. Right there, showers in there, like, I don't know. So we did that, but we came back, and all the money we had, we bought a can opener. And then that broke us. We didn't have any more money.
Because that was the only way we were
I didn't know how to cook, so we had to open cans.
About what cooking was.
Yeah, we had a lot of canned roasted stew. And he played semi-pro ball with Jim Bud. He wanted to go on Swainsboro somewhere, right?
Swainsboro's the last place.
Called him up there, and I would, Jim Bud stayed with him, and I wouldn't move. But during the war, there was a grocery store across where you turned in here. There was a grocery store on the other side of the street, and it had a telephone outside, old one. You had to ring up, and I stood watch. You had people staying on watch there, And you have to call in if you saw a plane. And that was food stamp day too, where you had everything rationed out. Your sugar and everything was rationed. You had to take the stamps.
I remember in Europe, I was in Cherbourg, France, and it's right on the coast. And they were dropping planes going over and coming right by our ship, dropping bombs all over the place, doing everything, any kind of noise that could be made to celebrate the end of the war. We just unloaded our ship full of ammunition, and they loaded it back up. We were supposed to take it to Japan, but they canceled out and sent us to New Jersey, thank goodness. But that was a long, noisy day.
Well, I like to dress up so, but my mom was pretty much like that. She liked clothes. She sewed her lots for us, but she always had us something new to wear when we were going certain places. Virgil played a lot of golf, and he was on the board. He was on the board up there, and I was president of the Golf and Ladies Association, and also a social director there. But I did teach aerobics until I was 78 at the YMCA. I worked for years. We got a lot of vacations through ourselves at the Y. A lot of dedication to trying to get it. We went religiously to the Y for a long time.
I worked at the old Y after I get off work in Swift, run the Y for them until they closed at night. So one time I had 3 jobs.
Mm-hmm. I started off in Coolidge. They had a high school in Coolidge. I was not working at the time because I had a little one, and the principal down there came to see me one day and offered me a job, and I said, teaching? I just thought, I can't do that. I don't have to teach school. But I did. I helped him out, and I loved it. He also had the biggest deer head he shot here. And it was ranked, and it's still in ranking in a magazine. You know the name of the magazine?
It's not number 9.
You look at his head, he was a big one. Let's go to a wedding. It was our daughter-in-law's sister getting married. And I had Lana, she was a baby upstairs. And Virgil said, well, I got time to go to the woods and cut a little wood for the fireplace. So he got over there. And he cut a tree, and the tree fell against another tree, swung around, got him good. Broke his leg, real complex break. Split open his fingers. It was a mess. And he was way back in the woods. And I guess it kind of knocked him out. He was way back, and he had to drag himself out of the woods. He got to the truck and it was a plowed field. And he said just an angel got him up in the truck. He has no idea how he could have possibly put himself up and set up with one arm. But he got here, sat down on the horn, and I was upstairs, getting ready. And he blew the horn long enough for the battery to go dead on it before I could hear him. So then it was like 45 minutes before we get an ambulance out here. And his foot was actually turned around under that pedal because I was panicking because of him, but I left the little one up there who could have crawled out of the bed and come down the stairs. So I was torn like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I got to see about Virgil and the baby up there, and I can just see her rolling down the stairs. That was trying things. They finally got him, took him to Moultrie. There was no doctor to do his leg.
They told the hospital told Swift it would be 2 years. I was back at work in less than 6 months.
Cripple up hand.
Yeah, those fingers were gone. They told me I never would make a fist, and I worked on it till I got a fist. We like our family too.
Because we've had 2 great children, and we never had any trouble with them. They never broke our heart. Their daddy was real strict on them. I was not strict. And now I think about it, and I thought, well, some of it was bad, but it must have worked out fine. And we got the sweetest grandchildren in the world.
Yeah.
I love them, and the great-grands even get greater. Just wonderful. The grandchildren, the great-grandchildren are just unbelievably made our life happier than it would have ever been. And we're just so blessed to get to know them. But we've been together now, we've been married 68 years, but we were still sweethearts before that. So all our life we've just been hip to hip. Well, we're here, and we're both 87, and I'll be 88 soon. And there's been, like any other marriage situation, there's been up and down. But we feel like that we've weathered it all, and we're just still real happy, and we still love each other, so that's a good thing.